Hello everyone, my name is Christopher and I'm a third year bachelor student currently enrolled at Goethe University in Frankfurt studying economics and management. My whole GMAT experience began in December 2023. I was just about to finish my second year in my bachelor studies and I knew I wanted to succeed with a master's program somewhere, preferably a master in management at a business school. And so I knew I would have to take the GMAT at some point, and I thought, well, let's try to take it quite immediately. So I planned to take the GMAT in beginning of February 2024. I gave myself round about 1.5 months of preparation, and I just didn't have a lot of an idea of how to study and what to do. I utilized some free resources and just went on. And so in my first real attempt, I scored a 5.65 in my GMAT, with the Quant actually being quite the worst section. And I knew, okay, after that I was very disappointed with my result. I knew this is not what I was really aiming for. This is not the score I need to get in at the universities I wanted to go. So I knew, okay, I will have to take it a second time, and this time be more prepared and take more time to study. And so this time came in around September of 2024. And so I knew I will take the test in December of 2024. So I started informing myself a bit, how can I this time be more prepared and just go at the whole test a bit more in a structured way. And so I heard from a lot of friends that who had already previously taken the GMAT, or knew other friends who had taken the GMAT, that a lot of them used the target test prep and were very, very happy with the whole structure and the course in general. And so I decided, yes, let's give this a try. I need a program that gives me kind of everything. I need a structure, I need a good question bank, I need lessons. But I want to work all of this in my own pace. And so yes, I booked the course starting from October. I did the monthly subscription, so I had a bit more flexibility if I wanted to maybe postpone my date a bit to the back, that I was able to do that. And actually I did have to. I planned to start with the booking of the course beginning of October. But unfortunately, I wasn't really able to do that. I started rather end of October, so I had to postpone my GMAT date by 2 weeks. I wanted to take it originally before Christmas, and then I had to postpone it to the 30th of December. So just right in time for the new year. And this time I managed to score 715, which obviously is a result I was very, very happy with, especially considering, the huge jump I made from the 5.65 to now 715. I was, yes, just really, really incredible for me to see also, how much I was able to push my score through 2 months of 1.5 to 2 months of just full studying and dedication. And but yes, of course, I don't think I wouldn't have scored this well without target test prep. So I'm, of course, really, really thankful for their service. I do think you definitely get your money's worth back. At least this was definitely the case for me. And as I was also just starting my internship, which I did from October until December, I didn't really have too much time throughout the days to fully study. So I was really glad that TTP gave me this whole, let's call it one package or full complete solution, which gave me a whole detailed study plan on which I oriented myself. And so I was always able to study 2 to 3 hours in the evening when I came back home, and then I really sat down on the weekends and studied 5 to 8 hours, depending on how I was feeling the days and also the lessons in general. And what I really liked is how TTP explains everything. Really from the ground up. If you don't need to have any previous knowledge or experience with the GMAT. You really start with the basics, and I think they're even it's even important to start there, even though if you already have a certain level. So that just then you can go through the lessons maybe a bit faster, you understand everything a bit better. But even if you don't have that pre-experience, it's really fine with how the whole course is structured. Anyway, so I went on to always, as it suggested, I started first doing a lot of quant, just always doing the lessons first, then going to the tests. In the beginning, I also took advantage of all of the tests you had. I logged all of the errors. I think there's also a really great tool that allows you to not only log your errors somewhere, but your errors are getting analyzed, and you can revisit them later, see which problems you got wrong. And when you just try to study not only the tests that it gives you, but if you're also revisiting your mistakes, this I found hugely helpful in understanding what went wrong in my thought process and how to prevent that for the next time. And then later on, I moved to jumping between verbal and quant sessions, and then fully at the end, I started also looking at the data insights, even though there I decided I won't take the full time to look at all of the material, as also I did not have the time for that. If I would have taken the time, I would have needed to postpone my GMAT again, and I really wanted to prevent that. And so then about 2 weeks, just around Christmas, or just before Christmas, I started taking my first mock exam, where I scored a 645, which I was also already satisfied with, but I knew that now I could utilize also my understanding of the test and revisiting the errors I did there. And yes, just scoring even better the next few times. And so I took 2 more mock exams the days before the GMAT, and that's how basically I tackled the whole GMAT. But also one thing I found quite useful, which I didn't really see anywhere else yet, is that TTP gives you, not only the lessons and then the question banks, but they also give you some strategy lessons in between. And there's some also free resources or other courses where they tell you how to utilize or think about strategy before taking the GMAT. Where to spend time, where not to spend time. But TTP did this in a really great detail. So they it's like their own lessons that they built for just strategy, which helps you to understand not only how the test works, but how to best use your strength to your advantage and minimize the damage that your weaknesses can do to your test score. And so I found that also really helpful about the whole TTP course overall. But I think the thing, looking back at it now, that really makes the difference for me is just the amount of questions and the amount of questions that are really similar to how the test in the end actually is, that they offer to you. And no matter which subscription you take, or if you also book live classes or not, they're always included. And that was just the biggest factor for me, that I can always sit down, take the quizzes and the tests in my own tempo. In the end, I can also track. It's recommended not to track your time in the beginning, so I didn't do that. But then towards the end, where speed becomes also an issue, it was very helpful to also have a timer integrated, track my time, and in the end being able to analyze how much time I spent on each question. And then you can use the analytics of the course to also see, where you spend a lot of time, where you get a lot of questions wrong, so you can try to remember which question type that is in general, and try to, if you get them in the real exam, don't waste a lot of time on those questions. But all of that is also, covered in the course, especially in those strategy sessions. And so that worked super well for me. I'm very happy with the whole structure of the course and the value I get for the money I pay. Maybe, I don't know, one or two advice that I Now thinking back at the GMAT that I would recommend to my younger self probably is first to really think of the verbal questions, not as a question trying to test your knowledge of the English language or of grammar, but really it's all a logical problem. So, and that's one thing a friend actually told me just before the GMAT, and I think it was a week before, and after he told me that, I was really able to look at the verbal questions in a different way, and then the verbal questions all of a sudden made more fun to me. And when something is fun for me, then it's always easier for myself to really focus on the details. So I think this was really a turning point for the verbal part for me. And I think for the data insights, it's quite similar. So you have to start treating especially the multi-resource parts, where I think a lot of people struggle on, especially I know, or at least I know a lot of friends who struggle there, or who have struggled, that really you have to treat that as just a longer kind of verbal problem, where you have to utilize your knowledge from the verbal sections and also treat it like a logical problem, and then you will do amazing. I hope that this video in general was maybe a bit helpful for some of you, gaining insights, maybe especially if you're still thinking if it's worth the price or not. I hope I was able to give you a bit of an insight here.